What's up, everybody? This is Russell Brunson. Welcome back to the Marketing Secrets Podcast. So the big question is this: how are entrepreneurs like us, who didn't cheat and take on venture capital, who are spending money from our own pockets, how do we market in a way that lets us get our products and our services and the things that we believe in out to the world and yet still remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Russell Brunson, and welcome to Marketing Secrets. Hey everyone, so I'm really excited. I know I'm always excited, but today I'm especially excited because yesterday I hired a new coach. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for like 5 years, like you should have been, I've talked about this before in the past, but I'm a big believer in coaching. When I was wrestling, I always had a coach, and I usually had 3 or 4 coaches. I had a freestyle coach, Greco coach, nutrition coach, wrestling, strength training coach. But sometimes we get in business and we're like, oh, we're so smart, we don't need coaches. And no, you're wrong. In fact, it's kind of funny because a lot of people I know who are really successful in this business for a long time who no longer are, they're like the last people to go and get coaching. It blows my mind because they think they know how to do it all. And I'm like, dude, like I'm kind of at the top of my game right now. I don't know, maybe it'll go higher, but you know, I definitely feel like I'm like 9.5 minutes into my 10 minutes of fame, and was it 15 minutes of fame, 14.5 minutes in. So who knows like when this whole thing will go down, but like for me, like I'm at the peak of where I've ever wanted or dreamt of being, right? And I'm still trying to find coaches to coach me in different areas of my life, in different aspects, and different things. I've had health coaches, business coaches, all sorts of stuff. And yesterday, actually 2 days ago, I was listening to a podcast. It was actually his Freedom Fastlane podcast by Ryan Moran, and he was doing a call with this dude, and the guy like coached him through this thing on the podcast, and I was like, dude, like that was insane. And I said out loud, I was like, I want to hire that guy to do that for me every Monday morning to get me focused on what I'm doing. And so, and I'm not going to tell you his name, not because I wouldn't share, but I don't want you guys all trying to hire him because it's not his core business. But anyway, so I was like, next day I messaged Ryan like, dude, I need this guy's info, and he's like, oh, you know, and then I messaged like 50 other ways, and finally Dave got a hold of him, and you know, 2 hours later I was on a call with him, and during this call he like literally did like a laser coaching thing with me. I was like, oh, this is so awesome. I was like, I want this every week, and it's kind of funny because again, this isn't like his full-time gig is to do coaching like that, and he's like, well, what, you know, where do you want to go? I'm like, I want to write you a big check for money, and then you do this every Monday morning for me. And he's like, okay. So I did. I wrote him a check, and now next Monday I have my first actual thing, and it's so exciting because, anyway, I have different coaches in my life. I have a coach every Tuesday morning I meet with, more on like, it's Tara Williams, just like an energy coach. So, but it kind of goes in all sorts of directions, from spiritual to physical to mental to business to like relationship, all over the place. So that's kind of like one that touches a lot of areas of my life. But then this is very specific about focus and intent, and like, so excited. So I'm excited for that. And I wish you guys could see how much I was jumping around crazy. Like I was so excited to give somebody money to be able to coach me, because it gets harder the different levels you get to. It's harder to find a coach who's there, who's always, you know, they can take you through a different aspect. And so just exciting for me. I'm so excited. In fact, that's why as a coach who I obviously coach a lot of entrepreneurs, like I don't want my students or friends, whatever you want to call them, like I got to keep progressing myself so that they keep having something to tap into, if that makes sense. I've had a lot of coaches throughout the years that I came in and really quickly we met and then surpassed, and it was just like, I can't get stuff out of it. I don't want my people ever feeling that way. That's why I'm always like pushing myself just so that I'm always as sharp as possible, so that I can keep serving and giving and coaching. And so, but anyway, I'm just excited. And it was interesting, and this is the point of the podcast, not that you guys care that I hired a coach, but more so it's because at the last Inner Circle meeting last week, so we had 4 days of Inner Circle, and I got 4 days next week too. I'm so excited. But what's interesting is I watched a pattern, such an interesting pattern. First off, the people in Inner Circle are people who, they hear what I say, they do it, and then they succeed. It's really interesting. They hear what I say, they do it, and they have success. Hear, do, succeed. Hear, do, succeed. When I was wrestling, I remember one of my coaches told me, he was like, you're one of the most coachable people I've ever had. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, you hear what I say, and then you go and do it. He's like, I'll literally, between matches, I'll show you like, hey, your level was too high, you need lower levels, you need to be moving more. And he's like, next match, you're doing that. Because most people, I tell them that over and over, and it takes weeks or months or years to get them to even attempt it. And he's like, I tell you to do something, you just do it. And I'm like, yeah, isn't that how it should work? You hear someone that you trust, that you hired, that you're paying to be a coach, or someone who is your coach, right? You hear them, you then do that thing, and you make money. For me, right? Or you hear a thing, do it, and then you wrestle about it, like that's the process, right? And so the key, though, first off, is you gotta tap into somebody that you trust, right? Someone who knows not gonna lead you astray, someone who knows more than you do. So when you hear him not saying it's like, should I do that? Should I not? Like, you gotta pick the mentor who like you have 100% faith and trust in. So it can be me, it can be someone else. I don't care. Just pick somebody who like I have absolute faith in that person's opinion. Therefore, I will do whatever they say. I will hear, and then I will do, and then I'll have success. But what's interesting is during this whole the inner circle is, again, I'm watching is like most of these people have, that's who they are. Like they hear, they do, they succeed, right? That's why they're able to afford 25 grand, come hang out with us a couple times a year. That's why they're having success. Like, but as I was watching, not all of them, I'd say probably 60% of our inner circle members are also coaches in different markets, different industries, things like that, right? And what's interesting is that almost all of them said, yeah, I've got these students who they just hear what I say and they do it and they have success. But I have all these other ones who don't. And I was like, it's so fascinating to me that the people who had success, what do? They heard, they did, they had success. Doom, doom, doom. The ones who didn't, they heard, they questioned, they thought about it, they flip-flopped, they overanalyzed, they studied something else, they did this, they did like that. Like they get stuck in this little thing in the middle that they don't really hear. And it's just so fascinating. Like for me, it's like yesterday when I heard, 2 days ago, I heard that podcast, and second I heard it, I was like, okay, I heard it. Now I'm gonna go do it so I can be successful. And I'm like, how am I gonna do it? I know I'm gonna forget or it's gonna be hard, so I'm gonna pay someone so I can do it. So I heard, did, boom. Now I guarantee you guys will see in the next 6 months the changes in my company and hopefully me personally because of this coaching, right? Again, I could have heard this podcast and like, and thought about it and tried things and like I'm like, no, I heard it. I'm gonna go do it and then I'm gonna be successful. And so if anything you get from this, like, there's a pattern in people that are successful in all areas of life. And the pattern is, number one, they find the mentor, the person, the coach, whatever they believe can get them where they are. And then they put on blinders. They hear, they do, they succeed. Hear, do, succeed. Hear, do, succeed. That's it. Okay. And if you're not successful, something's happening. Number one, you pick the wrong mentor, right? So you pick someone who you're not really trusting or they have bad advice, bad strategy, whatever. Okay. So if that's the case, pick somebody who has the right strategy, who you trust. Okay. That's number one. So you do it. Then number two, you have to listen to them. Now listening, I said this to my friends one time. There's two types of listeners in the world: those who listen and those who wait to be heard. And a lot of you guys are just like you're hearing stuff, but you're waiting to be like, well, I heard this, I learned. Like you're trying to like inject this thing in the middle. And I don't want you guys being the people who are waiting to be heard. Okay, you are hiring a coach so you can listen. Okay, so stop, get the right person, the right strategy, pay them money, whatever it takes, then listen. Listen. Okay, even if you think you know a better way, you read a blog post or a book or something that has a different, like, it doesn't matter. There's a million ways to skin the cat. Pick the strategy from the person and then listen to what they say. And then whatever they say, do it. That's it. Just do it. And then what will happen? You have success. Listen, do, succeed. Listen, do, succeed. Listen, do, succeed. It's a pretty simple strategy. It's somewhere between the listening and the succeeding. We get caught up in us trying to think or overanalyze or whatever it is. In fact, it's interesting, like people that are really good at school typically, the reason why I think they don't succeed in this kind of world is because they listen and then they analyze and they think and like it's good to think for yourself, but you're hiring someone who already thought through these things for you. Like this dude yesterday, like I don't know, I'm guessing he, like, my guess is he was surprised at how like he said something like, okay, doing it, done. Like I listened, I heard, I did. Like I was like, well, you know, like my company's bigger than yours, so, or I did this, or like whatever. It's like, no, I listened, I do, I succeed. I trusted him enough to give him money. Therefore, I'm trusting his strategy with 100% certainty that this is the way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have picked him, I wouldn't have paid him, I wouldn't have whatever. Like I chose that person. Therefore, I will listen with 100%. Like I have 100% certainty everything he says is going to be truth. Therefore, I will listen. I will do. I will succeed. So this message is mostly for those of you guys who are struggling. My guess is it's somewhere between this little chain that you're missing. You picked the wrong person to tap into strategy. But if you're listening to this, you're listening to me. So obviously you picked the right thing. So you got the right strategy to listen, do, succeed. Boom, that's it. I look at Brandon and Kaylin. Like literally, as Brandon and Kaylin, they come to every event. They're at everything we do. They're listen to every podcast. Like they're probably listening to this right now, smiling, saying, "Man, Russell keeps dropping our name again." Like they listen to everything. Like they picked somebody who they trusted, they listen, and they do. Like, I'll literally be on stage at an event talking about a concept, and I get off stage, and Brandon's like, hey, that thing you just said, I just launched it. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, while you were talking, I did it. He's listening, he did it, and they succeed. That's why their company's going loop. Okay, everyone else in the room sitting there listening, taking notes, thinking about how cool it'll be, and then they hang out networking, and they're talking, and like, no, Brandon is in there listening, doing, and that's why they're so successful. So for you, look at that chain. There's four elements. Pick the right mentor with the strategy, then have absolute certainty in what they say, listen to what they're saying. And again, listen, not waiting to be heard, listen, then do it. Whatever they say, don't even think just do it. Just jump off the cliff. I trusted this person, therefore I will jump off the cliff if they tell me to. Just do it. And then get success. That's it. It's really that easy. It's so easy. It's insanely easy. Like, how, I don't know why we keep complicating this. So don't complicate it. Okay? And if you do this thing and you don't have success, there's somewhere in here. Either you didn't hear it right, or you didn't do it right, or you picked the wrong strategy. But if you get the right strategy up front, and you listen, you'll have success. Like, it's an inevitability. Is that the right word? You can't not succeed. So there you go, guys. Hope that helps. It should help you, but it also should help the people you're coaching. It should help, so many ways. Understand this, guys, and that's the key. So that's all I got, guys. I'm heading into the office today. It's Wednesday. Got a lot of more fun stuff to do today. I'm excited. Appreciate you all for listening and subscribing to the podcast. If you're not subscribed yet, go to iTunes.com, subscribe. Or I guess marketingsecrets.com. There's a link to the iTunes. That might be easier. And then please rate, review, let us know, share this if you got any benefit from this. Appreciate you guys all. Thanks so much for everything. And I will talk to you all again soon. Bye, everybody. Would you like to see behind the scenes of what we're actually doing each day to grow our company? If so, then go subscribe to our free behind the scenes reality TV show at www.funnelhacker.tv.